In a week marked by significant political maneuvering, former President Donald Trump has emerged once again as a dominant force in both domestic and international affairs, leveraging his negotiating skills to secure two pivotal deals that reflect his transactional approach to governance. These developments, discussed extensively in a recent episode of The Daily by the New York Times, illustrate how Trump continues to navigate complex political landscapes to achieve his objectives, often at the expense of traditional political norms. The first deal centers on Trump's interactions with Congress, where he aimed to push through a budget resolution that would extend tax cuts while also imposing spending cuts. This proposal, described as a half-man half-horse by White House correspondent Maggie Haberman, captures the essence of the ongoing struggle within the Republican Party between fiscal conservatives and moderate members. The budget resolution included a plan to cut $880 billion from programs like Medicaid and Medicare over the next decade, a move that raised alarms among lawmakers who represent districts with many constituents reliant on these programs. Katie Edmondson, another correspondent, highlighted the tension among House Republicans, many of whom were caught between the desire to support Trump's tax cuts and the imperative to reduce federal spending. The internal conflict culminated in a nail-biting vote that ultimately passed by a narrow margin, with Trump reportedly applying pressure on wavering party members. Trump's influence was palpable as he was able to sway key lawmakers to back the bill, a testament to his enduring sway over the Republican Party despite the apparent contradictions in its fiscal messaging. The second deal, which has garnered international attention, involves a controversial agreement with Ukraine. Trump's administration has proposed that Ukraine compensate the U.S. for military aid provided during its ongoing conflict with Russia. This deal, rooted in Trump's transactional foreign policy approach, has drawn criticism for its implications. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, facing the reality of limited options, is expected to travel to Washington to formalize this arrangement despite the lack of substantial security guarantees from the U.S. This shift in dynamics signals a potential departure from traditional Republican stances on foreign intervention and support. Zolan Kanoyans, who also participated in the discussion, noted that Trump's approach effectively separates Ukraine from Russia, positioning the U.S. as a transactional partner rather than a security ally. This strategy places Ukraine in a precarious position, as it must navigate its reliance on U.S. support while facing the looming threat from Russia. The ramifications of these deals extend beyond immediate political gains. The budget resolution's cuts to vital social programs could alienate voters who depend on such assistance, potentially setting the stage for backlash in the upcoming elections. Similarly, Ukraine's acceptance of a deal that favors U.S. economic interests raises questions about the long-term implications for its sovereignty and security. As Trump continues to assert his influence over both domestic and international agendas, the implications of his deals will likely reverberate through the political landscape. The Republican Party finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with its identity amid competing priorities of fiscal conservatism and the populist tendencies championed by Trump. Meanwhile, Ukraine's negotiations signal a redefinition of alliances that could reshape the geopolitical landscape in Eastern Europe. Looking ahead, the political maneuverings of Trump and the decisions made by Congress and international leaders will be critical in shaping the future of U.S. governance and its role on the global stage. As these stories unfold, observers will be keenly watching how the balance of power within the Republican Party evolves and how Ukraine navigates its complex relationship with the United States in a changing geopolitical context. In a significant geopolitical maneuver, the Pentagon has announced the deployment of up to 3,000 troops along the U.S. southern border, a move that underscores the escalating tensions surrounding national security amidst a rapidly changing global landscape. This decision comes in response to a variety of factors, including increasing immigration concerns and the need to bolster border security capabilities, particularly with the introduction of advanced Stryker combat vehicles. The announcement, made on March 1, 2025, reflects a renewed focus on the U.S. border amid ongoing debates about immigration policy and national defense.
A Pentagon spokesperson stated this deployment is a proactive measure to ensure that we are prepared for any potential challenges that may arise at the border.
The use of Stryker vehicles known for their versatility and mobility highlights a shift towards integrating military assets in domestic security operations. As these developments unfold, the ramifications are being felt beyond the border. In Ukraine, officials are reportedly reeling from recent political turbulence following a fracas at the Oval Office where discussions over military aid and support have turned contentious. The situation has created a climate of uncertainty among Ukrainian leaders who fear that changes in U.S. policy could impact their ongoing conflict with Russia. "We are concerned about what this means for our future support," remarked one Ukrainian official, emphasizing the precarious nature of their reliance on U.S. assistance. Meanwhile, the tech sector is also grappling with its own challenges. Elon Musk's handling of internal conflicts within his companies has raised alarms among various regulatory agencies. With reports of increasing scrutiny over Musk's management practices, some officials are sounding the alarm about potential systemic risks. The dynamics within Musk's enterprises are complex and warrant close attention, an industry analyst noted. This situation highlights the intersection of technology and governance as regulators seek to ensure that innovation does not come at the expense of accountability. Amid these unfolding events, cities like Cleveland are facing a storm of their own as political tides shift. Under President Biden, the city experienced economic growth and revitalization efforts. However, analysts warn that a return to Trump-era policies could bring challenges that undermine these gains. Cleveland thrived under the previous administration, but there's a palpable tension about what changes might come next, said a regional economic expert. As the U.S. navigates these multifaceted challenges, ranging from border security to international relations and domestic political shifts, the implications are likely to resonate well into the future. The decisions made today, particularly in terms of military deployments and economic policy, will shape not only the immediate landscape but also the long-term trajectory of the nation's security, international alliances, and technological governance. Stakeholders across various sectors will be watching closely as the repercussions of these developments continue to unfold. In a striking turn of events that has sent ripples through the political landscape. Both former President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have faced significant setbacks following a tumultuous Oval Office meeting. This confrontation, which took place in late February 2025, has not only strained diplomatic relations but also reshaped the narratives surrounding both leaders as they navigate their respective challenges. Witnesses described the meeting as heated, with tensions escalating over the U.S. support for Ukraine amidst its ongoing conflict with Russia. Sources close to the situation indicated that Trump expressed frustration over what he perceives as insufficient gratitude from Zelensky regarding American military assistance. "We've done so much for you and yet you keep asking for more," Trump reportedly said, a statement that underscores his growing impatience with foreign aid commitments. The fallout from this encounter has been profound. Political analysts believe that both leaders are now grappling with the implications of this public discord. For Trump, the confrontation poses a risk to his standing among MAGA supporters who generally favor a strong stance on international affairs but are increasingly wary of prolonged military engagements. Trump's base is conflicted. They want America to be a force for good, but they also want to prioritize domestic issues, noted political strategist Emily Carter. On the other hand, Zelensky is facing a dual challenge as he seeks to maintain international support while addressing rising domestic discontent over the war's toll on Ukraine's economy and civilian life. His administration has been keen on portraying a united front, but this incident may complicate efforts to garner bipartisan support in Congress as skepticism about continued U.S. involvement grows. Notably, in the aftermath of the meeting, Republican Senator Josh Hawley emerged as a vocal supporter of Trump, framing the incident as evidence of Zelensky's failure to adequately appreciate American contributions. If Ukraine wants our help, they need to understand that it comes with expectations, Hawley stated, reflecting a sentiment that could gain traction among a segment of the GOP. As both leaders lick their wounds, the implications extend beyond their immediate political fates. The diplomatic rift may embolden adversaries of Ukraine, particularly as Russia continues to monitor the situation closely. Analysts suggest that the Kremlin could leverage this discord to undermine Western unity, potentially escalating tensions in the region. Looking ahead, the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations seems precarious. With the 2024 elections on the horizon, both Trump and Zelensky will need to navigate their respective political landscapes with care. The stakes are high, and as the world watches, the actions taken in the coming weeks will likely set the tone for both leaders' legacies. As the situation develops, it will be crucial to monitor how both presidents adapt their strategies in response to this unexpected diplomatic crisis, which could have far-reaching consequences for international relations and global stability. In a significant shift in European Union diplomacy regarding the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has urged the EU to initiate direct peace talks with Russia. This request, articulated in a letter to EU Council President Antonio Costa, marks Orban's position as the EU's most pro-Russia leader and reflects a growing rift among member states regarding their approach to the Ukrainian crisis. Orban explicitly opposed a consensus on Ukraine among the EU's 27 member nations, raising concerns about the bloc's future strategy amidst escalating tensions. Orban's call for dialogue comes on the heels of a controversial meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, during which Trump criticized Zelensky and initiated bilateral peace negotiations with Moscow, circumventing Kyiv's input. This development has alarmed European leaders, who are now grappling with the implications of a potential realignment in U.S. foreign policy. The Hungarian Prime Minister's letter, which highlights strategic differences among EU states, was sent just as Brussels prepared for an upcoming summit aimed at solidifying military support for Ukraine and increasing defense expenditures across Europe. In his communication, Orban pointed to a recent UN Security Council resolution that called for an end to hostilities without condemning Russia's actions in Ukraine. He argued that this resolution indicates a new phase in the conflict and renders previous EU agreements on Ukraine irrelevant. As tensions mount, senior European officials are convening in London to discuss their collective response, aiming to bolster support for Ukraine and reduce dependency on U.S. military aid. The backdrop to Orban's demand is a growing sentiment in Ukraine that the war may soon enter a new phase marked by potential compromises. Many Ukrainians, including soldiers and civilians alike, express a deep-seated resolve to continue fighting, but they are also aware of the precarious situation. The recent U.S. political landscape, particularly Trump's overtures towards Russia, has created unease among Ukrainians who fear being forced into a settlement that legitimizes Russian aggression. "We have 1 million soldiers. They could be the heart of a new European army," said a young soldier, reflecting the determination and exhaustion prevalent among the Ukrainian populace. The ongoing conflict has taken a toll on morale, with many citizens grappling with the realities of war while trying to maintain a semblance of normalcy in their lives. The uncertainty surrounding U.S. support has heightened concerns in Ukraine, particularly as the country has become a leader in drone warfare and military innovation. While some officials argue that Ukraine can sustain its defense even without U.S. aid, the consensus is that a prolonged conflict without adequate support could lead to significant territorial losses. As the situation evolves, the upcoming summit in London will be pivotal in shaping the EU's response to both Orban's demands and the broader implications of U.S. foreign policy shifts. The meeting could set the stage for a renewed European strategy that balances support for Ukraine with the complex geopolitical realities of negotiating peace with Russia. In this charged atmosphere, both the European Union and Ukraine stand at a crossroads, with choices that could have far-reaching implications for the future of the region. As leaders navigate these turbulent waters, the hope remains that diplomatic efforts will prevail over discord, ensuring that the sacrifices made thus far are not rendered futile by political missteps and miscalculations. In an era where productivity hacks dominate the conversation, the recent directive from Elon Musk to his employees at Doge has sparked intrigue and introspection. Musk's request for federal employees to succinctly list 5 accomplishments from the previous week offers a glimpse into his management style while simultaneously reflecting a broader societal obsession with to-do lists and achievement tracking. Rachel Cook, writing for The Guardian, navigates this landscape with a personal lens, revealing her own compulsion for list-making and its implications.
Cook finds herself in a peculiar alignment with Musk's approach despite its inherent absurdities.
It's silly, she admits, questioning the efficacy of such a request when the veracity of the accomplishments could easily be manipulated by an office joker. Yet her empathy for Musk's fixation on productivity resonates deeply with her own experiences as a chronic list maker. She describes her notebooks filled with ambitions, goals, and even whimsical desires, suggesting that the urge to catalog one's life is a universal human trait. This phenomenon of list-making transcends mere organizational habits. It speaks to a larger desire for control and validation in an increasingly chaotic world. Cook articulates the struggle through her own experiences, mentioning the weight of her future achievement lists and the emotional burden they carry. In a culture that often prioritizes tangible results, the act of listing becomes a ritualistic affirmation of one's aspirations and struggles. However, the narrative shifts when Cook draws parallels between her lists and the stark realities of everyday life. In her reflection on living without a functioning boiler during a cold snap, she intertwines the discomfort of physical cold with the metaphorical chill of unmet ambitions. Her experiences evoke a sense of resilience and gratitude, contrasting the triviality of her lists with the profound simplicity of survival. Living for 3 weeks without a boiler in a cold snap is an exercise in gratitude as well as stoicism, she notes, revealing the dichotomy between the mundane and the extraordinary that pervades our lives. As she meanders through personal anecdotes, Cook's writing serves as a lens through which we can examine our own lives and the societal pressures that shape them. The juxtaposition of her lists against the backdrop of her experiences creates a compelling narrative that resonates with anyone who has ever felt the weight of expectations, be they self-imposed or societal. In conclusion, as Cook reflects on the intersection of her compulsive list-making and the absurdity of Musk's directive, she invites readers to consider the broader implications of productivity in our lives. The future may hold further exploration of these themes, particularly as individuals and organizations navigate the delicate balance between ambition and authenticity in an ever-evolving world. As we continue to grapple with our own lists and accomplishments, the challenge remains: how do we find meaning beyond the bullet points and achieve a sense of fulfillment amid the chaos? In a gripping showdown at the PIA District 2 Class 3A Girls Basketball Championship, the Dunmore Lady Bucks triumphed over Holy Redeemer with a nail-biting 49-44 victory at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Wilkes-Barre Township on March 1, 2025. This hard-fought match showcased the resilience of the Dunmore team, particularly their senior standout Sophia Toluto, whose performance proved instrumental in the comeback. Dunmore, facing a challenging start, found themselves trailing for much of the game. However, Toluto's 24-point effort, paired with key contributions from teammates Amanda Dempsey and Michelle Naito, ultimately turned the tide. Toluto, shooting 7 for 16 from the field and sinking 2 critical three-pointers, also amassed 7 rebounds along with 3 assists and 2 steals. Coming in, we had a lot of confidence, so we knew those bad moments were not going to define the game, Toluto remarked after the victory, emphasizing the team's determination to maintain their composure despite the pressure. Holy Redeemer's coach John Jazorowski acknowledged Toluto's exceptional talent, stating she's one of the best players in all of District 2. Just a fantastic player. His praise underscores the impact Toluto had on the game, particularly as Dunmore rallied in the fourth quarter. Naito and Dempsey also stepped up when it mattered most, with Naito scoring crucial points during the final moments, contributing to Dunmore's impressive fourth-quarter performance.
The match featured a tense back-and-forth dynamic, with Holy Redeemer initially taking the lead. The Lady Royals, led by Megan Albrecht's 14 points, seemed poised for victory but faced difficulties as the game wore on. Notably, Holy Redeemers struggled at the free throw line, hitting only 8 of 17 attempts, and their foul trouble hampered their ability to maintain momentum. "The ball just fell the wrong way for us at the end," Jazorowski reflected, indicating the frustration of missed opportunities. In the closing moments, the tension peaked as both teams exchanged leads. Dunmore's resilience shone through when they capitalized on Holy Redeemer's fouls, allowing the Ladybucks to convert crucial free throws. Toluto's decisive free throws in the final seconds sealed the win and marked a significant redemption for Dunmore, who avenged their loss to Holy Redeemer in the previous year's championship. As both teams now advance to the PIAA Class 3A tournament, Dunmore will face either Towanda or Mount Carmel, while Holy Redeemer prepares to meet District 4 runner-up Hughesville. The championship victory not only signifies Dunmore's continued dominance in the district but also sets the stage for a promising postseason, with Toluto and her teammates eager to build on their momentum. The excitement around this victory, coupled with the anticipation of upcoming challenges, promises an exhilarating conclusion to the season for these talented young athletes.